Welcome back, True Seeker. Want to show you something interesting as a follow-up to the Mount St. Helens earthquake of May 18th, 1980, further proving that it was done intentionally as ritual. Before I get to that point, I just want to remind you, I put out this video sometime back about the 1989 World Series earthquake, the only earthquake captured on live television between the two Bay Area teams, the Oakland Athletics, the San Francisco Giants. The last thing shown on TV before it went off air due to the earthquake was a replay of the prior World Series game, Jose Canseco, number 33, crossing home plate. And as that replay was happening, the shaking began and the TV went to static. Now look, Jose Canseco was born July 2nd, 1964. The date of the earthquake was October 17th, 1989. That was exactly 107 days after Jose Canseco's birthday. And the reason that matters is because of this. In Gematria, earthquake sums to 107. So does Jose Canseco's full name in Gematria. Notice his full name also sums to 55 like earthquake, but we're talking about how it came 107 days after his birthday. And again, we live in a nation where for decades there was underground weapons testing, atomic and nuclear bombs. A lot of it was done along the west coast of the United States. Military 107, just like earthquake, just like Jose Canseco's full name. And I'll link this video down below. There's other important details. But the point to take away is the ritualistic nature of Freemasonry, which controls the world of rig sports, which controls our government, which controls media, which controls the military, and which is absolutely executing acts of God, Mother Nature, harming the masses while no one realizing what's really going on. We live in an age of technology. They've admitted that they know how to induce flash flooding since 1952. That's the same period of time that underground weapons testing was going on. They were also detonating atomic bombs, nuclear bombs in the sky to manipulate weather. You know, these storms that just hit Texas and Florida this year, they were referred to as nuclear storms. They said what just happened to the Northeast with the crazy cold temperatures was a cyclone bomb. So understanding that, here's what I want to show you. I started thinking about how May 18th is 18/5, the way the majority of the world writes it. I've talked about how important that number is to mathematics and basketball. And I wasn't born in 1980. I was born in 1983. Grew up in the area, so knew all about Mount St. Helens. It's something we learned a lot about growing up in public school. You know, nation's biggest volcano right in our backyard. But anyway, understanding what I know now, what I've discovered about these rituals and numbers and doing things by the code. If you missed the video I just put out, watch that because it's very important. It proves that Mount St. Helens was a ritual, no different than what they did with Jose Canseco. But in light of the fact that we know that they like to sync these earthquakes and rituals and volcanoes up with sports games, which I've talked about many times before, beyond the 1989 World Series earthquake, I started to think, okay, this earthquake, or not this earthquake, this volcano, May 18th, 1980, it impacted two states largely, Washington and Oregon. And this happened at the time of the NBA playoffs. One of the only professional teams Portland has are the Portland Trail Blazers. Seattle also has the Supersonics. So I asked myself, I said, was there a basketball series going on between the Blazers and Sonics around when this happened? And look at this. First, understand May 18th, the day this happened. Mathematics 185, basketball 185. Remember, they had the Oakland warehouse fire, which I showed the day of was a ritual on purpose in tribute to the upcoming NBA playoffs, and it showed that the championship would be Warriors and Cavs again, right as those finals were beginning. 185 days after the fire, the first arrests were made for the warehouse fire. These rituals, they go on in so many different ways. Earthquakes, fires, volcanoes. And it's all masonry that it is responsible that's doing this. These people are insane. But look at this. So it turns out, as soon as I looked, I said, oh my God, there really was a basketball playoff series between Portland and Seattle. This took place from April 2nd, 1980 to April 6th, 1980, just about a month before the eruption. Now look at this. April 2nd start date, April 6th end date. Think about how we write the date in the United States. We'd write it /2 for April 2nd, /6 for April 6th. April 2nd, a lot like 42, St. Helens equals 42. April 6th, the end date, a lot like 46, eruption equals 46. This series began 46 days before the eruption, ended 42 days before St. Helens erupted. And that's normally how we call it up here. We don't, I mean, sometimes you'll say Mount St. Helens, but most people just refer to it as St. Helens. No doubt this is intentional. This is exactly what's going on in this world that I'm trying to wake people up to. All of your sports are scripted. All of your news is scripted. All of your planned disasters in the media are scripted. People need to wake up to this tyranny. Everyone needs to rebel. We need to shut down our government, and we need to start over. Don't ask me what the next step is. Who gives a fuck what the next step is? We have people that have planted bombs all over the ground. People who are inducing flash flooding. People who are fucking up people every single day in this world needlessly. Now maybe you're sitting there going, well, if everything went to anarchy, then I'm not sure my Cheetos and ice cream and cold milk would be at the grocery store, and I kind of just want to kick back and have my Cheetos and ice cream and watch the TV. If that's you, you're a fucking New World Order minion, okay? That's what they want. They want you to think, well, the New World Order, they might be fucking sick, but you know what? At least I got Cheetos and ice cream and television. Realize you're a miserable fuck with these things in your life. Imagine if we took this world back. Imagine if we created something different. You know? Imagine if there weren't Cheetos and ice cream and television. It'd be a better world. It'd be less obese people. Less people zonked out in a zombie state from watching TV all the time. People who actually had to talk to each other, know their neighbors, grow some food. We need to get back to that place. Back to sanity. Not corporate taxville, military police state, psychopath land, or whatever the hell you want to call this. I bet you most people would see this and just think it's all a coincidence because they don't understand. They don't got a clue. They don't know how often this shit goes on. Understand, my first thought was, you know, after I put out this video, started thinking more about it, I was like, oh, the date had a basketball connection, basketball playoffs. My first thought was, I wonder if the Blazers and Seattle played each other. And sure enough, they did. And in perfect alignment with the volcano. You know? People think, you know, my critics will say, Zach's always trying to force things and make it look... No, I'm not trying to make it look like anything. This is the way it is. You know, I just did a video talking about, especially the significance of 42. And understand also what's interesting about eruption, in light of what we first learned with 107. Notice the word volcano, 107. Like earthquake, like military, like we talked about. 107 days after Jose Canseco's birthday. If you missed all this other stuff, you know, you got to check it out. And something else I forgot to mention was this happened in 1980, the worst volcanic eruption in U.S. history. Volcanic eruption 80. And just as a reminder, everybody, Dutch Sense, Major Shill, military intelligence, he's not telling you anything you need to know. He's lying to you about Fukushima, the fallout from that. This guy, he's just presenting what's put in front of him. Major fraud here, Dutch Sense. No point even following him. His work's irrelevant. He tried to say, I'm a shill, I'm the only one exposed to anything important about earthquakes. Yeah, my whole channel's not about earthquakes and forecasts and earthquakes. Who gives a shit? Show what's really going on. Show about the bombs in the ground, the bombs up in the sky, how they're manipulating the weather. You know? I'd say my predictions are better than Dutch Sense's anyway when it comes to earthquakes. I've nailed a lot of dates to say look out for. Talking about the exact numbers. I ain't got no military intelligence behind me. Just figured out the code the New World Order tyrants operate by, which I've been teaching you guys since 2013. Need more people helping me out. But yeah, you missed the first video. I'll link it down below along with this blog post. This is what's going on in the world. Rig sports, rig news. You live in a military police state. The sports are meant to distract you from what's really going on. People are asking what players they should plug in their fantasy roster. You need to be asking, damn, what the hell was my government doing detonating bombs for 50 years up in the sky and below our feet? No? All right, Truth Seeker, until next time.